Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and it's a beautiful day to talk about our depressing side. As we last recap we made right here in this channel, we were sitting here laughing. Why? I hear one person ask way in the back. I was laughing because we didn't deserve to beat Dundee last week, and the manner in which we done it with Cyril Dessers putting out one of the worst performances I've ever seen from our number 9, yet scoring the winner and being heralded as a hero and applauded and held up as a hero was funny to me, because everything that could have went wrong in that game did, to a point where it started to fall our way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, football can be cruel, football can be kind, and football can be very, very honest. And what you seen was the flip side of that coin today, where we should have lost last week, we did this week, and if we're being brutally honest, it was the exact same game. And it's the exact same game because it's the exact same problems that's just pulling this side back. And for me, that's the guy in the sticks, and that's the guy leading the line, who for me is a perfect mirror of each other. You know what I mean? Both on their day can be game winners, but both, when they're not on it, can single-handedly ruin any game plan that's ever put in place and ruin any match possible. And both of them absolutely age me, because when they're good, by God, they're great, ain't Jackie B, this super Jack, CD9 at the other side. We love the jokes, we love the banter, but see, at the same time, sometimes the laughing stops, and we need to actually address and be honest with the problems. And I think you're talking about two senior players in the Rangers team there, and two players for me are a perfect summary where the hell we are, because they're two players that are pretty heavily worshipped by a lot of the fan base. But I sit and look at them, and I sit and just glance, and I say, yeah, I like you, and it goes, well, absolutely, we're always gonna do that. But can both of them win you a 38 game season to go ahead and win you a league trophy? Is both of them consistent enough to go ahead and win you league titles? I didn't think so anymore, ladies and gentlemen, and that's more on so Jackie B. Obviously, I've had my say on Dessers for a long time. I'm not going to keep going round about it. He's not a striker that can win you a league title. I've put my name on that a long time ago. But Butland's decline and Butland's sprinkling of good form and Butland going back to that is just a cycle that's gone round and round and round. Again, both of them summarise just what we go through as a Rangers fan base. They are the leaders. They are experienced players, and they are what we experience week in and week out with this Rangers team. Complete erraticness that when it goes well, it's great, but it's no great very often, and that's the perfect way to summarise both of them. Jackie B went ahead and made his 100th competitive appearance for the club the day. He's conceded 101 goals during that period. Like, is that good? I didn't even like it when it had Dalmatians at the end of it. I certainly didn't like it when it's goals conceded. He's just no up to it. And I think, again, the guy at the other side, Mr. Cyril Dessers, the game winner, the guy that was getting cooked and fried all week on Twitter because he eventually scored his 10th chance in the actual game, also lets us down in the other side and misses major opportunities again, where he doesn't get yet another chance. The chances ran out the day and the time ran out in the football club, and it's honestly been like that all season long, and that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? Same game, same problems, but you know what's cruel, ladies and gentlemen? Not only have we been, again, 2-0 behind 6 of our last 8 games, we have also not won a match at Ibrox since the 2nd of February. Let that sink in to the noggin. Since the 2nd of February, we haven't won a game at Ibrox. We have now went ahead and lost not only a record-breaking run at home, we're actually continually breaking that as we go on. You know what I mean? We're not through a tough period, we're not through an embarrassed period. We're still in that embarrassing free-fall at home, as we've now went ahead and lost 6 on the spin, which is absolutely mental to think about. But what's even more mental to actually say it loud is, what have we done during that period? Right, we've talked about the things that Barry's got right, absolutely, and I'm not saying this is on Barry's fault either, by the way. We know that in turn, we're not going to keep going round and round. You all know how I feel. Short boost, we'll take it for there and then go on for the summer, right? But there's only so much anybody can ever do, especially when you're going ahead and picking the exact same players in the exact same position, and that's what's maddening to me. There is something badly wrong with this team playing at home. So why the hell are we not picking other players to try and rectify any of that? Like, it's mental. It's just a fair question. Why are we playing the exact same players that are continually putting on this record losing run? Hand over. I want to know what you're thinking down there in the old comment section below. And again, I know the counterpoint's going to be, well, his hands are tied with certain positions. Certain positions, absolutely, and they're not good enough in their specific roles, and we know where we are, right? But there is also rotations that could be happening elsewhere. Again, we're talking about the goalkeeping position. Liam Kelly had more good games than bad games. Again, I'm not sitting saying drop him going in to Bilbao or anything, because again, Jackie Butland could be a hero on Thursday, just like he was a couple Thursdays ago, followed by a great Old Firm game, right? I get that, but that is a position that could be looked at regarding domestic football, as is the striking position, because a large part of today's second half, we had 3 strikers on the park. 2 of them was playing out of position, and the only one that was allowed to play the position of a centre forward was the worst one out the 3. And see, when you just step back and you look at the stuff that we're talking about here, no changing anything, doing the exact same thing, and then just doing silly stuff like that, is there any wonder it's not getting any better? And is it any wonder why we just keep on digging lower and lower with this losing record? At Ibrox, we are playing actively better players out of position to facilitate a striker that requires double digits a game to score, that scored 1 goal in his last 17 shots on target. We're pinning our hopes onto that, whilst meanwhile, in a cruel sense of irony, we played a side that the last time we played them at their ground, we played a different striker leading the line by the name Eggman, who not only got a hat-trick, which was a perfect hat-trick by the way, he also hit the post, nearly grabbing us all 3 points with a phenomenal run up against Rocky Bushiri, who again is a very, very strong centre-half. Out of the strikers we've had over the last couple of years, Eggman gave him maybe the toughest time in that match, and he scored a perfect hat-trick and hit the post from 5 shots. Shit, what we doing with him? No, troops, what are we doing with him? Even after the phenomenal goal we scored at Parkhead, wonderful in the striking position, what are we doing with him? We're chucking him here to the left, ruining his confidence. Why? To facilitate a striker that requires double-digit goals. And then, when things aren't going well, what do? We say, Eggman, here, play right wing. Why are we not playing our most promising striker at the striking position? I honestly feel like I'm losing my mind. It's so incredibly short-sighted to continue to roll the dice on Dessert where it worked last week. It's not worked this week. It's the exact same cycle. Can somebody just take a step back and look at it, ladies and gentlemen? It's been that way since he's came in. Good when he's good, but bang average, if not worse, when it isn't, and we lose and we drop points, we bottle league titles, we fire. It's the exact same stuff air and air again, and I'm starting to truly believe I'm like Truman for the Truman Show, and I've just realised that it's all just set up to push me mentally to almost insanity, because I'm sitting looking saying it's the exact same thing. They go round the block again there, they do that, Butland chucks in a goal, Dessers missed C6 chances, we go round and round and round again and again, and I just didn't understand why we didn't change anything, ladies and gentlemen. And that's not taking anything away from Hibs today. It was probably their easiest game. I think they're now 16 unbeaten, and I would have talked about that if I made a preview video. But again, why am I going to make a preview for domestic football when the players are continually showing they do not care enough about domestic football? Why am I going to waste any more of the fans' time? It's worse enough we're needing to live through every single minute. You didn't need a diddy like me 24 hours before the game sitting talking about their, are they going to turn up today? Are they going to be ball today? 9 times out of 10, especially domestically, it isn't. And again, it is sickening that we know in a couple of days' time this exact same group of players, nearly the exact same starting 11, will raise their game when they go ahead and play a very, very good Bilbao side. Now, again, will that be enough to take them to the next level to get a result versus that side? We'll talk about that on Wednesday, but it's just so annoying to continually watch and support a group of players that you know every time there's a game on a Saturday or a Sunday, they're not really going to give everything, and even when they didn't get punished, because again they'll be picked the next again week, the next again week, and the next again week. They're breaking every record under the book for all the wrong reasons, but they're still first on the team sheet every single week. And again, why? The story of the season has already been told by the players in that dressing room, and the amount of losing records and the amount of records they've gave opposition fans all season long, in a week that saw a season ticket come out with the price increase, etc, etc, with unforgettable moments tagged elsewhere. What unforgettable moments have these players truly gave us this season? You could genuinely make an argument that these players have given more unforgettable memories to opposition fans than they've given their own fans this season, and that hurts me to say that. Again, I never expected us to win a league, and that's why we kind of laughed and joked about it at the start of the season, but surely it had to be better than the crop we're currently seeing with how much they're actually get playing, and just the difference in mentality, approach, work rate and commitment we see on a Saturday, Sunday compared to a Thursday has never been this big. It was always a wee joke and a wee meme that we used to have under Gerrard and even under Gio, and everything. They would hear the music, they would turn up and they would raise their game 10%. But genuinely, if you're watching today's video, when you see Rangers play in Europe and you see them playing like this, domestically the way they have done all season, barring one or two good games, again a couple games versus Celtic, what is that percentage actually a difference? I'd say they're a completely different animal on a completely different side when they play in Europe to they play domestically, and it's never been as glaring and it's never been as bad. But again, the story's already been told by them, so why do we continue to retell it? Surely there's other players and other things we can try going in to this season. I know Barry's obviously auditioning to try and get the job, but again, surely he can see that. What's wrong with this team? He's in the dressing room, he's seeing these players break these losing records. Why on earth does he still think we're rolling the same dice that continue to roll under Clement will bring him success? He's got to move away for that. Our most promising striker at this football club that could potentially bring us some money one day, shouldn't he be playing out in the left or playing out in the right to facilitate a striker again that requires double digits goals? A guy that we rumoured they spent about 4, 5, 6 million, shouldn't he be sitting on the bench picking up splints on his arse cheeks, coming on to games, changing it, helping us to win, only to get bombed back out the following week for again a worse striker? And that just because it looks pretty on a stat sheet. The Rangers fans that watch the games know what Dessers is and what he's good at. Yes, he can be an absolute handful on occasion, but again, especially against physical players, it gets manhandled nearly on a weekly basis, and he was bullied again. I've tracked it back and I went and had a wee look because I was like, what went wrong with Igman is the 9? And see if you actually look at it, when Igman's purple patch ended, please go back and look at the game that it started to turn. Was he at the number 9 position? No. It was after Dessers scored a hat-trick versus Fraser, and ever since then, Igman's been moved for the striking position out to left wing, or he's been played as a 10, or even in parts of the day, especially in the second half, he's been played out on the right. I just didn't get it anymore, ladies and gentlemen. There is people and players that need to be played that will be moved on in the summer. Absolutely, that is obvious. We're waiting for this takeover, we're waiting for this refresh, but there is clear stuff that can be done. The new, that isn't. And it's driving me mental because it's such a 50-50 every single time. And I'm just going to start calling this Rangers team Two-Face Droops, because that's what it is. You either get the good or the bad, and it's that split every single match. I don't know what we're going to get, and that's the game, and that's the same, and that's the season. And that's his club, ladies and gentlemen. So that's how I feel about the overall game. Again, we're going to go ahead and get into the game recap because we chuck another one into the back of it. So stymie me over there. But I just want to know your opinions on what we've talked about so far. Am I just losing my mind unnecessarily? It's just Rangers, the standard core. Or is there things and positions and players we could be playing and trying to develop that were no? And I just didn't get it. I'll hand the reins over to you. But getting into the game recap, and I'll try and make this a wee bit quicker because who had 8 minutes on their cootum? You know, for when we would just throw one into the back of net, or Jackie B would just turn it to Casper, the friendly ghost. Who had 8 minutes? Did a lot of yous? What did you win? For £1 you'd win about a penny, because this Rangers team just loves doing this. And I seen the starting 11 and I was happy to see Czerny return, but I wasn't really happy when I was looking at the other areas, and that is not only at Sterling at centre back, because I realised it was a 4-4-2 rather than a 3-5-2 that's sort of been working. And again, I don't like Igman getting wasted at the left wing position, and It's frustrating because people are turning him, they're calling him Purple Patch, doing this, and it's just, look at where he's getting asked to play. It's completely alien to him. Yet despite that, he's still sliding in Dessers, who should make it 1-1, but he balloons it at the bar. He's still creating opportunities. I just feel bad for the laddie, and I just feel frustrated for us as a fan base, because that should be our number. There's nothing left to win domestically, so why not develop the young player that's definitely going to be here next season? It's baffling, ladies and gentlemen. But moving on, we start the game pretty well. We have a Raskin shot in the first minute or two of the game. Tierney has a couple runs, Stelling has a couple tackles, but as always, one corner comes in and it ends up getting headed out to, I believe, Levitt, and Levitt just hits a volley, and it's so soft and it's so straight at Jack Butland that I think, oh, well, the guy that's offside's flicked it. So I'm sitting there, that's not getting given. That's not getting given. That'll get checked. There's no way Jack Butland's just been beat with a slow shot. Say, there's none. There's no offside. And then it's just straight at him. And it's like what we talked about at Dundee. Remember when I says there's a shot coming these days? Right? Here's a shot. Bang. This is when Butland dives. It's like that every single... The boy's lagging in front of you. Somebody charge their controllers. It's infuriating to watch. And we're 1-0 down. Hibs gets the buzz. Hibs get the excitement. And then the game plan set perfectly for them having the lead. Because all they then need to do is sit in and play that gap to Boyle. Gap to Boyle. Gap. You didn't need a tactical genius to realise all they want to do is play through balls to Martin Boyle, yet somehow we just opened the door for them and let them do it every single time they went forward. I just didn't get it, ladies and gentlemen. But I go on, embarrassingly enough, already with that goal we've conceded. It was all about the response, and we've seen that so far. You know what I mean? We have seen a response in some of these matches. Did we see it the day? No, but did we have the chances to? Aye. And then it becomes the Dessers' miss show that again the Dessers lovers pretend didn't happen when he goes and scores a meaningless goal in a dead rubber in 2 weeks' time. The 13th, 27th and 30th minute is what we've been seeing as Rangers fans for far too long. It's what we've seen last season when we bottled the league title versus Motherwell and Ross County and Dundee, etc, etc. And it's Dessers' trifecta of major misses. The first one comes again round about the 13th minute when a ball gets played in on Fit Eggman. He's inside the box, he just needs to shoot, but he wants all day. Rocky Bashir ends up clearing it away, goes back to Eggman, who tries a curler, but again he's outside the box. That's no his game. He should be in and amongst it. You know when he scored a perfect hat-trick with that sharp instinctive finishing? Yeah, let's keep him outside the box setting up Cyril Dessers. But anyway, moving on from there, we do actually have some good bit of build-up and probably our only real good move in the entire game. It starts with Stelling winning the ball. He headers it down to Raskin. That goes out to Tierney. He zips a ball into Tavernier. He's playing right back here, by the way, but he's leading the line. And it's a beautiful wee touch pass from Tav into Dessers. He is a wee bit wider right, but again, it is another opportunity for him that's saved by the goalie. And you think, okay, but it's not a major one, so we let it go. But the major one then comes less than 3 minutes later. Eggman on the turn, holding off a player, slides Cyril Dessers in on goal. Yes, Rocky Bashiri's coming beside him, but he's 1v1 with the goalie. Does the goalie save it? Does he blast it straight at the goalie? No, he doesn't even get it on target. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. When it doesn't fall for him, when he doesn't get double digits, when we need him in that period of the game, did it come? No. And all that stuff just frustrates the life of me, because it's the same thing time and time again. But then he'll score and a goal versus St Mirren, will do this, or somebody, well, have you seen his stat sheet, CGI? Ken, what I've also seen? I miss that chance every single time, and it's never anything personal. Again, I want to love Cyril Dessers. It gets in the opposition, his movement's great, or whatever people are saying these days, but I also need my striker to score goals, because you're not always going to get double digits. This is the prime example of why he can't be your number 9 if you want to see Rangers winning league titles in a 38 game season, or a 36 if the league gets restructured. If you want, you can't have that, because that's what we get. So why do we pretend when he does get double digits and he does eventually score that the previous never happened? This summer we need to look at everything fail and say, no, he's not good enough to win us a league title. So why persevere? And I get this very well seem like it is a personal attack on Dessers, but I've got to mention Dessers' name because in the 40th minute, It's a brilliant counter-attack. Raskin to Czerny to Dessers. He's got one man to beat, then he's got a shot. He tries to line up the lefty, and his shot from the edge of the box doesn't go on target. It curls miles away and nearly hits the corner flag. This is the guy that we are preferring as the number. This is the guy the entire team's facilitating, trying to get a goal to get us back in it. That's why we mention him so much, because he's such an important piece in this squad. That is our guy we pin our hopes in it. That's the guy we create our chances for him. Igman, Czerny, Raskin, Dio is all going into there. There's 4 chances in the first half. Only one of them was on target, and it's just no good enough. But the second half comes, and it's just as bad, if not worse, than the first half. Now, your ears would be thankful you're not going to hear the name Dessers as much as you did in the first half, because Rangers were a bit more embarrassing in other areas of the park, especially defensively. But again, I'm having to jump from the 45th minute to about the 62nd, 63rd, because why? Nothing happened. There was no response. There was no bite. Long ball, long throw, corner, long ball, long throw. It's that again and again. Hello, Clement, is that you? Because the players are apparently been told to do things differently. They're not doing it. But guess what? Why should they be scared? None of them have anything to worry about. The picnics again week either way, whether they take the lessons on board or no. But we move on. Jump to the 63rd minute, we go ahead and make a sub. Was it Danilo to bring in the Danilo-Egeman partnership that looked so bright before Danilo went down injured? Unfortunately, no, it was Barami, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I thought Barami at least offered something. It was weird. Barami actually looked like a player when he came on. He was hungry, he was chasing down, he ended up hitting the bar with a great shot. It came for a long ball. Long ball to Brahmi, brilliant on the left, ends up rattling the crossbar. Brilliant effort, and where Brahmi has been a punch bag for a lot of the season, you could just see even Barami, when he turned it on, just looked shoulders above the effort that a lot of other people were putting on the park. And it's mental. Clearly he's trying to get in the squad to get a chance to build Bilbao, but whatever the motivations are, that's fine for me. Let's fill the squad with the boys that are dying to play versus Bilbao, or dying to play again. Let's fill what's left of these dead rubbers with A-type. Hey, Metallic's dead. Yeah, you want to play against Bilbao, lads? Go ahead and earn it. Barami looked like he tried to at least, but again his shot ends up rocketing off the crossbar, and then from there it did sort of fade away, because again Hibs made some changes to counter that and keep that counter attack looking as promising as it did. Campbell comes on, and right away the cross comes in. I thought it was going to be a penalty because I did think it hit Tavernier's hand, but I think it hits his knee first, then his hand. So is that? No, it's very confusing. I didn't understand it anymore. But anyway, it hits off the knee, the hand, drops the Campbell. He's got to do better, but he ends up rolling it wide, and then he rolled it wide in a massive way. And I thought, we've got away with this, because somehow Sterling just falls over in the middle. Could it have been a foul? Maybe, but no, for him, he's trying to do that. You know how that centre backs do this sort of foul all the time, right? They see somebody coming behind them, they go, oh, and they land on top of the ball. Connor Goldson's great at it. Carter Vickers does it all the time. Whoever your centre back is, you've seen him do it many. Just wait for the contact and go, oh, and they try and grab the ball. Well, Sterling tried to do that, but he couldn't land on the ball. The referee let the game play on, which is the way he should be doing it these days. And then Campbell has free rein to run right at the Rangers box. To be fair, there is some pace to get back. I think Jeff's pace, and I think it is Sterling also comes back, but it puts enough pressure on that he then drags it. But that's it there. We should respond for there, but we just ignored those clear, glaring issues and made no adjustments or changes to what Hibs went ahead and done. It was like we were just waiting to concede a setting to eventually make the subs that should have happened ages ago. But before our £5-6 million striker eventually does see the park in a home game versus Hibernian, we go ahead and concede another goal, and it's absolutely horrific. The space that Martin Boyle's in, Sterling just a step off it. It's just horrific again for Rangers. Their fastest, most dangerous player wide open to just sprint in. Great finish for Boyle as well, curving his run. It's what a striker should be doing, and it's when I get frustrated, and it's why I say what I say about Dessers. Oh, he looks pretty on a start sheet, but if you take any striker in this league and give them the same amount of games and the same chances, I didn't think there's a big difference in the goals. You know what I mean? The Simon Murray's 19. What's Dalby at now? 16, 17. Boyle's at 16, I think. I'm not saying they're as good as Dessers or Dessers as them or anything like that, but I'm just talking about strikers that's getting 1 or 2 chances a game that's getting in to double digits. I've got to laud and hero worship a guy that gets double digit chances a game that is just slightly ahead of these boys that play in possession teams that didn't have a lot of the ball, didn't have a lot of the chance. It's just silly to me when you look at the standard and you look at shot per goal, chance per goal, everybody else. Yet again, whew. Now I'll be honest, there was a lengthy VAR check, but it looked like Boyle was in his own half anyway. I don't know if it's been cleared up for different angles. You can let me know down in the comment section, but it looked like he was in his own half, so I was expecting it to be a goal, and the goal was given. And then Danilo finally comes on for Diamande, and that's when we had Danilo, we had Egeman, and we had Dessers on the park. And again, the only one that was playing as a striker was the worst one out of the three. So that was great. Yes, there was a couple wee half chances. The ball comes in, Danilo finds space. I can't believe it, eh? A guy that's really intelligent in the attacking areas finds space. Can't believe it. He came on the park, plays a nice wee ball, and it drops to the back post. Dessers has just got to throw himself at it, but he's too caring about a touch on his back. Flops there like this, great, love that. Rocky Bashiri's in, throwing him about like an empty plastic bag again for the rest of the game. We're trying to do a counter-attack. No, it's not Czerny. I think it is Egeman, sorry, on the right-hand side. Cuts in, has a shot. Wee bit of a melee in the middle, but Dessers is doing again. You think, just get up, man. We need a striker to get up for all Morelos' fault. At least they got stuck in to these centre-halves. No, just go, oh, I'm not going to beat him. You know what I mean? I didn't need that for my number 9. I need somebody to get stuck in. And there was a couple other wee crosses came in or wee shots here. But are we really going to talk that we had a spirited comeback or major opportunities? There was a Barron cross. There was a Tavernier cross. There was a Tavernier set piece wasted that didn't hit the target. And that's the way that the game ended up finishing, ladies. It was just no good enough again. But this Rangers team is built. And it is really built, and it's almost applauded. And I mean that by everybody that's attached with it. Every interview, every commentator, they all say the same thing. Well, Butland make mistakes, but he bounces back, he doesn't let it ball him. Oh, Dessers makes a mistake, but he bounces back, doesn't ball him. Tavernier makes some mistakes, but can we stop prioritising bringing in players and attitudes of players that are alright with making mistakes because they bounce back? Can we start prioritising getting players that didn't make mistakes and didn't require bouncing back fast, because that's why we see the results. Aye, they're good, they're bad, but they'll bounce back. They're good, they're bad, they bounce back. Err and err again. And I think I've voiced my opinion on that enough, ladies and gentlemen. But aye, it's the exact same frustration the last time I felt after Motherwell gone in to the Fenerbahce game. Well, now we've got a home game versus Bilbao. That one's going to be really tough. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Are we lulling them into a false sense of security? I hope so, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully they'll look at that and say, oh, we don't need to. Let's just sit and play corner all night, lads. We don't need to worry about Rangers the more on that. Let's hope they are lulling them in to that. But it's a big, big ask. But I never saw anything for that Rangers team. But if I'm being fair, I often didn't domestically, especially in the weekends before European football, because they save themselves for that and then they're knackered after European football. Air and again. But that's my opinion on it. Wasn't good enough for the start, but again, when you build your team with personalities that are either good in the day or awful, you're going to get games, going to get results, and that's what we've had all season. So I'd love to know your opinions, love to know your frustrations, and let me know how you feel down in the comments section below. What do you do with this Rangers team? I know we need to gut out in the summer, we'll certainly talk about that, but going forward, is it bringing in different personalities, giving them a chance? Surely Egeman gets a chance to play number 9 again, considering the success he had the last time he played there. Egeman's only played poorly when he's been moved away for striker. Why are we not putting him back in? It's baffling, ladies and gentlemen. You can let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, I've been CJ992. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday. Until then, all the best and bye.